Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. Moving right along, right? Just getting into the meat and potatoes of this week. Got some big names after the close, had some big names before the open, have the Fed tomorrow. So it's going to get real busy real fast. And as always, I like having kind of a game plan in place coming into the week. Obviously, that's open to adjustments. Things change, stocks move, right? But I like having a game plan in place just to kind of you know, have some sort of idea of what I want to do on a day-to-day basis. Just because when action really starts to pick up and when you get into these days when there's like 50, 60, 100 names reporting, it can be kind of overwhelming. So always love having a game plan there. Um, and typically each week, I'm always on the lookout for sympathy trades, so like highly correlated stocks, right? I've obviously done videos of this on the past, but this week there are some more opportunities. Okay, some very obvious opportunities, and some maybe a little bit less so, or maybe some that are moving away from those highly correlated trades, right? And EA actually falls into that latter category. So you have the gaming stocks, right? Everybody. Well, for the most part, people are aware of the gaming stocks. You have Electronic Arts, you have Activision, and you have Take Two, right? So EA, ATVI, and Take Two. And what you can see is, I mean, at times in the past, these stocks have really tended to trade together, right? Specifically, long periods last year, like these stocks, really very similar performance. Ticking to the top at the same time, rolling over at the same time, right? You can see, I mean, the absolute highs and lows might be off by a few weeks, but overall, you can tell like the performance has been very very similar over like the past year, right? Um, Now, just basically, I guess since like February, really, you're starting to see a break of that correlation, and EA is going to be reporting tonight after the close. And at times in the past, I've played Activision or maybe Take Two, but what you can see is that the correlation is starting to crack, right? So here's a chart of Activision. You can see um, definitely kind of almost like an inverse, right? Where EA spiked in February, Activision got hit. Basically heading the opposite directions now. EA is creeping lower, Activision's kind of firming up, right? And then if I go out through Take Two, it's even more stark of a separation. So you can see again, Take Two got hit, and now it's just been like a steady trend line higher. So, what had been in the past pretty good names to maybe go after for like sympathy trades. This is starting to crack, so that's why I'm not really like I'm not really that focused on. I mean, it could still impact EA's numbers could still impact Activision or Take Two, but in terms of like the correlation, it really seems that the companies are starting to kind of operate on their own level now. So those sympathy trades, maybe you have to shelve them for the time being, right? Now, another one where the correlation is still pretty high is Western Digital, and then I'll talk about Micron in a second, right? So Western Digital reports this week, these memory names, really just a huge run off the low, and WDC's bottom and turn higher really coincided with Micron earnings in June, and you can see. With Western Digital scheduled to report this week, that if you're looking for a sympathy trade, Micron should be a pretty good one. I'm not sure necessarily that they're going to have a huge move, a huge reaction, just because the stocks have had such a big move off the bottom. Probably a lot expected at this point, but you could see, I mean, like that is just an unbelievably close correlation for two stocks, right? Western Digital and then Micron's the blue line. So you can see that like this correlation is as high as ever. So if you're looking for a trade, I'll tell you right now, Western Digital pricing in about say like 4.5, right? So you have the catalyst premium. Micron, on the other hand, only pricing in about $1.75, right? So about less than half of what WDC is pricing in. But again, very highly correlated. So if WDC is a huge move, it seems as though it's likely that Micron is going to respond to it, right? Also, another interesting one, CLAC and AMAT, right? LAM and AMAT, excuse me. So you have LRCX, All right, that reports this week, semi-supplier, semi-equipment name. One of the go-tos for that is AMAT. Usually responds to those numbers. And you can see, again, kind of like Micron and Western Digital, the correlation is as strong as ever on these two. So LRCX, if you're looking to play those numbers, about 11, almost 12 points is what they're looking for versus AMAT. Yes, it is, it's a lower price stock, but only looking for about like a dollar and a half, right? So 12 for, let's get rid of this. So 12 for Lamb would be over 5% move, whereas AMAT a dollar and a half would only be about a 3% move. So, a 6% move versus a 3% move. So you can see what I mean. Why like those sympathy trades sometimes are interesting because very, very highly correlated. One's priced in 6%, the other one's only priced in 3%. Odds are if one moves, the other one's probably going to move with it, right? Just because these are so closely correlated. All right, so you can see, I again, like I've done plenty of videos about these correlations and these sympathy trades in the past, but it just seems that during the heart of earnings season, there's more opportunities just because you got more names reporting, right? So I'm always on the hunt for them. Sometimes if you get those really big moves, these sympathy trades are present some great opportunities. But also, if you're a little bit more defensive, if you're a little bit more cautious and saying, okay, like I really don't think they're going to be a huge move, it's also an interesting way to go about it because you're not laying out the same amount of premium, right? Anyway, lots to look forward to this week. The Fed tomorrow should be interesting to say the least. And then after that, maybe we can move back onto earnings because I feel like over the next 24 hours, focus is going to be much more on the Fed. Maybe earnings take a back seat, but after the Fed's out off the table, then we can move forward with earnings again and see some good action. All right. So hope you guys have a fantastic night. Best of luck if you're playing anything, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.